dating apps are, just a medium of where they're introducing two people.
One is about the awareness, but the second part is also like there is a lot of onus on the intermediaries also as such.
People are so used to just either they just swipe without thinking, or they're in a hurry to get in a relationship, right? And that's where they make the mistake.
Every day there is a new modus operandi. You cannot expect everyone to know about the latest kind of frauds happening.
This is a man that she met, that she was living in with for 3 years, who killed her and chopped her body. Character. Doesn't it boil down to how do you figure out a character?
Good evening, welcome to Table Talk. On the show today, are dating apps safe, or how safe are dating apps? Something that has come into the limelight after the horrific murder of Shraddha Walkar, whose body was found chopped into multiple pieces across Delhi. And she found her live-in partner who allegedly murdered her on a dating app. But really, what are the challenges for these organizations? Is it possible to even verify characters? There's just so much that's going on. We've got Ritesh Bhatia joining us. He is also a data privacy consultant, one of my favorite cybersecurity experts, and also Shalini Singh, the founder of andwemet.
Shalini, let me begin with you first. How much of it is in your control? I mean, this is a man that she met, that she was living in with for 3 years, who killed her and chopped her body. Character. Doesn't it boil down to how do you figure out a character?
Let's just keep dating apps aside. How do you just, figure out a character or personality of anybody? Right? So it could be, it depends. I mean, I could introduce you to someone, and until and unless you don't live with the person, you do not know the character. Right? So dating apps are, just a medium of where they're introducing two people. And if you, in the case of what happened in the gruesome murder, I mean, whatever I have been reading is that, she had been going through abuse over years, and she could have left him much before. So I don't think we can I think it's the onus on us individuals to have that gumption to leave a relationship if it's not going the way we want it.
We've extensively discussed how vast cyber world is, the online world is, how anonymity, allows people to get away with things, how you never really sometimes know what the other person is. You can be catfished, you can be sadfished, all those kind of things. Dating apps, where does it fit in?
So as far as like dating apps are concerned, so I will put all of them in like that one particular category, whether it is those matrimonial ones or whether it is the dating apps. One is about the awareness. What Sanjana said is absolutely right. There has to be some sort of awareness amongst the people also, and to come up with the character and find out and everything. All said and done, that is one thing. But the second part is also like there is a lot of onus on the intermediaries also as such. Internet now, I would say, is become like a kind of a mall. Okay, so this is like a big mall of bringing people together. Do you think if it's a real good mall, he will allow, instead of Levi's, it's spelt as Levcy and somebody selling fake products and all? No, the mall management itself will first take certain steps as such. So the say, or if you look at the fire thing also, each shop is not supposed to take care of the fire, or the user is not, the customer who's coming, he's not concerned about the fire part of it, because that's by default that their security is taken care of. I'm focusing nowadays more on the responsibilities of the government and on the intermediaries as such, because how much awareness will you do? Every day there is a new modus operandi. You cannot expect everyone to know about the latest kind of frauds happening. You look at the sextortion, which is happening big time right now. It's been 5 years and there's nothing that's being done. And there is so much of now this sextortion, what has happened, has come up on the dating apps also. I have a case where it is through a matrimonial website where the sextortion is quite a lot. we are not taking sextortion very seriously overall, like, whether it is the media or whether it is the people or whether it is the government. We are just not taking it seriously. With Nirali only, just to inform the other people, she's a cyber psychologist and she's my wife, and she deals with the victims, especially the women and children of cybercrime. She just got a case wherein somebody was a victim of sextortion 1 year back, and till date he's not been able to move on. You can filter out, you can somewhere raise these red flags. Jyotsna.
We've seen the AIMS website that has been hacked for days and weeks, just being ahead of the system in a sense. In that environment, how tough is it sometimes for you to protect your client?
We follow, the global guidelines on security and securing their data. And we be assured that we don't share their data with a third party. Okay. In fact, internally also we are very, very strict about sharing, their data with us. So I think that is very safe. So I think technology is allowing us to keep the data safe. He talked about the mall where Levi's is misspelled. It's up to me as a brand what I wear and what I want. So it's up to the individuals to see what is it that they want. The access of internet in everybody's hand. I mean, today everybody signs up on Instagram, right? Are we talking about, and a dating app, everybody signs up on a dating app. So the user needs to see which one is for serious dating, which one is for casual dating. I mean, even if you look at the traditional way when people matchmake, and which happens even today, when even families introduce the families, they always try and do a background check. We have no idea about somebody's personality. I may perceive to be a very happy person, but I may not be a happy person, and you will only know that if you live with me or you interact with me. People are so used to either they just swipe without thinking, or they're in a hurry to get in a relationship, right? And that's where they make the mistake. Even when people get intimate, they think, okay, it's a serious relationship. It doesn't confirm serious relationship. Have a conversation that, hey, are we in a serious relationship? Second is we fear breaking up because of the heartache.
So Shalini has covered about the data part of it, which is absolutely fine. But I know where you are coming from, because you gave the reference of Shraddha and what happened with her. And I'm now not talking about Shalini's specific app as such. I'm talking about the larger ones, the bigger ones. And if you ask me, 8 out of 10 profiles are fake over there. And I think I would want to focus on this particular part today. See, when we are talking about the breaches and all, that's a secondary thing. That is a complete cybersecurity part where the companies have to take care about it. Because if you see what happened with this Ashley Madison, where all the data, and it was everything about extramarital affairs, and then those people were extorted and whatnot. That was another level altogether. That was one of the biggest breaches that ever happened in relationship related to technology. Whether it is your matrimonial websites or the user awareness and finding out the character of the other person, meeting him, those offline things is another thing. I'm right now talking about the responsibilities and what all they can do, which they don't want to do. Again, let me emphasize, Shalini, please don't take it the other way. I'm not talking about your app. I'm talking about the Tinders and the Bumbles of the world and the Omegles and the Hinge, and especially the ones that are happening with LGBT community. It's really, really bad what is happening with the LGBT community over there. They have these specific apps for them. And when they go over there are these people who dupe them. They pretend to be something, but they are not. It's so much of a fake profile. I've heard about rapes happening over there with the LGBT community, the money being extorted. Here, of course, when you right swipe, left swipe, everything is built with a component of AI. Jyotsna, artificial intelligence is embedded nowadays. In fact, if it's not embedded, you're not going to win this particular race also. You're not going to be here. So they know about it. So when they know so much about it, they can also, kind of weed out all these fake profiles. It's simple for them, but it's all the game of numbers. If I have to go and get my round of funding, I will say, okay, I got these many million. My competitor will come and say, okay, I got this many million plus X percentage of this thing. So these people don't want to risk that out. They just want to, like, okay, even if it's fake profiles, let it be over there. But they very well know which are fake profiles and what are not. Even if we are doing the KYC and all, somebody else is coming and using that account. Like, this is exactly what's happening with in the banking sector, with the SIM cards. Now, with all such frauds happening, people are doing KYCs. The banks have become more strict even in the remote areas.
So, Shalini, how do you tackle fake accounts?
So the reason why andwemet came to being was, and with all the other providers, I have full respect for what they're doing, because they're giving access for people to find love, right? But it's like a needle in the haystack to find a real person. Okay? At andwemet, we do a basic verification, okay, of the gender, of the age, and of the person. A very basic verification, but we tell them we are not taking the onus of the personality of, we are assuring you that yes, this is Shalini, yes, she's of this age, okay, yes, she's a female. We do that. It's both automated and manual. We do that, but we are not telling you that Shalini is exactly how she's kind, she's compassionate, she doesn't have anger. We cannot tell you that. And we also have a service for background check. If you want that, you can get that done. But we also tell you, do not be in a hurry. There was a single parent who met someone, and they actually reached out to us and they said that this person, I've met him twice and he wants to come home to meet my child. So we told her, what's the hurry? And why are you going and meeting? You don't have to invite him. So, so I'll tell you, people are so clueless. And this lady is in her late 30s, okay? A professional. All right. And she's asking us this. And we asked her, what's the hurry? Why do you want to introduce her to your son? Have you met his friends? How do you know this is a serious relationship? I mean, and then she goes, oh yeah. So things like that. And what we do at andwemet, in terms of we tell our subscribers that if you are meeting somebody from andwemet, and if you wish, you can inform us where you're meeting, who you are meeting, at what time are you meeting, and then what we do from our side is we call them, at different intervals to make sure that and we also ask them to give us an alternate number if they cannot be reached. This is when they go out for their first 3 dates.
So 2.5 years, dating apps have seeped through to tier 2 cities as well, right? I mean, the 70% of the consumption is actually not in the big metros. It is in smaller towns and cities in the country. So, you talk about this woman being clueless. So how do you tackle the challenge, this double challenge, A, of being clueless on one side, and B, of a young generation that is so super smart online that, you're always a step behind?
So at andwemet, it's for 25 years and above.
Oh, they're still young. 25 is young.
Correct. It is 25 years and above. But our primary audience is, if you ask us, it's 28 years to 38 years. And these people have been on all the platforms. And now they're coming to andwemet because they're hearing about us, right? But they are young. I mean, you're young even at 40 and you're young even at 50, I think. But they are young, but they are in a hurry, unfortunately, because of the deep, they're in a hurry to find someone by 28 or in their 30s. And we try and educate them as much as we can. And there's a lot of education that's needed, that is actually needed, to ask people to slow down and so all we just say is be sensible. That's it.
So let's talk about a little bit about data privacy. There's the whole thing about dating apps also leaking out your information, or the fact that for advertisements it's not really, you give it but it's not really where you think it's going to stay. Is that a fact?
Everyone is over here in the business. They also know more than the revenue that they generate from the users and from their subscriptions as such. They get a lot more money than by selling the data, because there's a lot that you know about it. And that's the reason one thing you need to be aware about is when you're installing an app, whichever app that is, you really got to go back after you've installed it and check for the permissions as such. Sometimes what these people do is they again, like, they'll say, okay, there's an update right now, and at that point of time, let's say you have revoked the permission of microphone or gallery or all those kind of things, uh, you know they again switch it on. We need to understand what an app can do. So here is also the role of these people to also go and check what all permissions are their developers also taking. And it's something that even we need to do. As I was telling you, for Table Talks with Joe, I create these apps, let's say 10,000 users of yours and more just install it, and I'm able to get a lot more about data from there itself, and then I can also sell it as a developer. You might not be knowing. I'm talking about any app. I mean, you just go and you would be surprised to see certain apps. Maybe they would be just, these ride apps. But that's why when we talk about, the privacy part of it, this is something that these people need to abide by. They need to understand that, like really respecting privacies. And that's why the principle of, the privacy by default and privacy by design is extremely important. So what is privacy by default? Let's say Shalini will say, I want to respect everybody's privacy. By default, I don't want to have access to their gallery. By default, I don't want access to their microphone. If there is something, and I would want to tell them that, okay, do you want to give us the consent? Yes, I want to give you. Please do so only while using the app, not otherwise, and be mindful about it. Say my food delivering app, which is there, okay? Now this particular guy, I suddenly see, okay, he's got access to my microphone. Why? I never gave it the permission, so I figured it out. It's just because I updated it. You had to do this. And then I wanted to figure out why it took. Somewhere down in the line, it was, in the big terms and conditions, it was written that, okay, you can leave a voice note for somebody who's delivering, and that's the reason we need access. How many times I'm going to leave a voice note for the delivery boy? I would prefer to call him up. So here the principles of privacy by default, privacy by design are not there.
So our consent guideline says that we are not using your, when you share your verification data, we delete it. So you share it after we delete it after we approve your profile. We also talk about if you want to if somebody wants a background check, right? So you approve that you allow us to do a background check on you.
How does the financial model work in these instances?
Our revenue is coming only through our subscribers and for the features that they're using on andwemet. We don't share third-party data. So we do have people who sponsor our events or something like that, our offline events. We are very clear. We are not sharing our data with third parties.
That's good to know. What about redressal mechanism for your clients? Someone's had a bad experience or someone is suspicious about the other person. How do you go about it?
So this is a great question, and we've had 2 such experiences. Okay, in the last 2 years that we've had. So they do know where they can reach us. If they're not comfortable with somebody, right? And what the first thing we do is we go and hold both the profiles, and then we talk to both. We try and understand, and then we kind of resolve it. If they have gone off our platform and are speaking one-on-one, right? And if somebody has an issue with the other person, then we ask them to send us proof, and we completely ban the person. We also tell the person, we make a note of the person, all the details, and we definitely put an email to the person that, if you continue reaching out to whoever you were, we're going to take strict actions. And we do that, and for 45 days, we keep checking with the person who's gone through this experience if all's well, and otherwise they can report to us anytime.
Have you ever been in a position where you've had to take it to the police?
I hope it doesn't, but it's to do with people. It's a people's business. So absolutely it can happen, and we're ready for it if in case it does happen. Like I said, is that, if you're even meeting the first time, right? So we send out a message to them, even when we welcome them, that, if anybody asks you for money, don't, like just very basic. And I'm telling you, people just tend to do it. They just forget it, right? Don't meet in a lonely place. Inform someone when you're meeting, even if it's 5 dates, 6 dates, till you don't meet each other's friends, please meet in a public place. Things like, we also say that kind of share the load of the financial load. If you're going on a date, let not one person pay, because then you feel liable to the other person. So we do things like that.
Final quick question from you, Ritesh. What more can apps do to keep it safe?
Okay, number one, for users, understand one thing: trust, anonymity, and privacy. These three things are a myth on the internet. Just keep this one particular thing. So I am focusing upon the trust part of it, anonymity and privacy. All these three things. Even if an app talks to you about a privacy, don't completely believe okay, your privacy is absolutely intact, because when that particular app is on, there are other apps also which are watching what you're doing on this particular app. So if I am on Shalini's app, there is my another app. So the big tech also knows that what interactions I am having on Shalini's app also. So that's why I say privacy is a myth. Don't trust anyone. Right now, I know this Jyotsna Mohan. I have seen her on NDTV. There are her credentials over here. So I will completely believe that this is Jyotsna. I will go with that particular kind of thing. But this is Shalini. I have never met her. I have never seen her. I would want to do a kind of a background check to know that whether this is really Shalini or somebody is pretending to be Shalini and is coming over here. Sorry, Shalini. I'm just trying to make it this thing. So all these dating apps or matrimonial apps, they should have a section about what all trending crimes are there, which are happening in the relationship sphere in the tech. Not happening on your app, you can still put about it. Okay, there have been news that this is what has happened. It is not going to hurt your business. In fact, you're going to win the trust of these people. Just imagine if I'm on Tinder, every after fifth swipe, there is an ad coming. Instead of an ad, what if an awareness thing is coming? Be wary about predators, or a news article is coming that okay, somebody had met on dating app and this had happened, or some news article. They can do that. Why every fifth or seventh has to be an ad? Something can be about awareness. It is not going to harm your business or anything. Aren't the banks doing the same?
With the access to the internet, what's happened is this space has become very chaotic, unfortunately. It's become very chaotic, and even the big guys or the incumbents are doing nothing about it. And I hope, and that's the reason there is andwemet. And andwemet's literally it's a fish in a very tiny pond. And I'm absolutely game to work with other players in this market to just make it safe and let people know. And we're not trying to say not everybody is looking for a serious relationship, and it's absolutely fine. But let's just make it a more cleaner and a saner place. And that's what I'd like to say.
Shalini, are you based in India?
Very much so.
Okay. Is your office company registered in India? Do you have a contact address where we can approach you? Right?
Yes.
What's very important, choose a platform which at least has a grievance redressal system where you can go physically and speak to those people. That something like this has happened to me. Can you please help me out? I am lodging a police complaint. What is happening on those other apps? They are based out of US or some other countries. And when the officers or anybody wants to get the data or approach them, there is absolutely no support. They say, look, our laws don't say this. I think it's time that you start choosing your Indian ones compared to those other ones.
Yeah, very fair point, actually. Very interesting that you mention it, because, you get a standard one-line or a two-line response which goes across to every news organization and, anybody asking them the question, and then that's it. It's the end of the matter, as it has been recently. But, Ritesh and Shalini, it was lovely speaking with the two of you. This conversation could carry on, but there's so many aspects to it. But like Ritesh said, Shalini, it's wonderful that you're based here. You have there's a physical space, because, and it's not just dating apps, with so many things that when we need a redressal online, we are struggling to return things, find things, we don't know where to go. And I think, it's the wonder world. But thank you guys, and it's a pleasure.